What's going on? Is yours truly. Just say it with me. They call me Miss TALIAFERRO'S. Everybody doing out there? Real quick, I want to give you guys an update as we head into 2020. The next few days as we end the year, I'm going to be throwing up some recap videos, some top of the year videos. Who's the artist of the year, the top album of the year, who is the artist of the decade. We're going to be doing things like that over the next couple days. Not a lot of new content for me because I'm getting some big time changes done to my platform, but we will be locked and loaded and ready to go as soon as it hits January 1st, 2020. So I want to send everybody a happy pre-New Year's while we're at it. I got some great additions and changes that I'm making to my platform that I cannot wait to unveil to the people that support me the most. That'll be you guys, the FERRO'S. Now, I wanted to talk about something that I thoroughly enjoyed. A lot of people have asked me about it. It's this Drake interview with the Rap Radar podcast. Salute to B-Dot and salute to Elliot. What an interview! Yo, salute the Rap Radar. They did the same damn thing last year late with the Will Smith interview, and they did it again. Potentially the interview of the year this year, really, really late. It was shot on December 12th. They released it on Christmas. This Rap Radar podcast with the boy from the 6, Drizzy Drake. What an interview with Drake. That is as open as and honest as we've seen Drake in quite some time. He's did the interviews with Apple and company that I felt like were contrived and I felt like were essentially scripted, and you can only ask Drake so many things. I've never been a big fan of the interviews that Drake's did in the past. I remember the interview he did with Angie Martinez. That probably was the last time that Drake was open and honest and just open to answering anything in the interview. That was damn near a decade ago. She was still over at Hot 97 when they did that interview. But anyways, Elliot and B-Dot, man, look, salute to Elliot. Elliot actually went to Toronto one time when Drake dropped an album. I believe that was 2 albums ago. I believe that was More Life. And he was looking for a Drake interview randomly, and he didn't get it. I'm happy homie finally got the interview that he had wanted for quite some time, the Drizzy Drake one. Drake's talking about the Meek situation, the Wayne connection, the Nicki situation, the Birdman situation. He's talking about everything. I want to focus here on a couple comments, and I think I'll do a plethora of videos about this interview that gave me so much juicy content. I probably split it up into little pieces, and it'll kind of make sense more when you see where the future of my platform is going in 2020. But for right now, I want to focus on 2 things: the Pusha T and the Kanye West beef, the good music beef that Drake was involved in back in 2018 that lingered over there in 2019. We found out a lot from Drake. So a lot of people called me crazy when Drake dropped the Sicko Mode record, and I was like, yo, the whole Sicko Mode verse was about Kanye West. Well, Drake confirmed that to the Rap Radar podcast, that the Sicko Mode verse, when he's like, I crept down the block, what you do? You made it right. He's talking about Kanye West in the midst of the verse. Like, I thought what Drake said about Ye and Pusha T, we probably will never get Drake that open and honest again. We remember he had did the interview with LeBron and Mav Carter, but I thought that interview was pretty much LeBron interviewing himself with Drake listening, right? I thought this time around, though, it was more or less Drake controlling the conversation, talking pretty much in his home, in his element, and I thought Drake really opened up about his disdain for Pusha T and his unwillingness to solve any issues with one Kanye West. Here's what he said about Pusha T and the story of Adidon diss record when he was asked about it by Elliot and B-Dot. He said, I tip my hat to the chess move. It was a genius play in the game of chess. It definitely warranted my first loss in the competitive sport of rapping. By choice, obviously, because I bowed out after realizing that the gap between us allowed him to drop a bomb on the world, and that was all anyone would have cared about. I sleep well at night knowing I didn't get outbarred and I didn't get done off by some crazy song. It was just a fact. You know, he told the world that the biggest artist at the time had a kid that he hasn't told you about. I knew it was kind of over for me at that point. Drake went on to speak on Pusha. I'm going to summarize here. He pretty much says he no longer listens to Pusha T's music. He felt like Pusha T's entire rap career is a fraud. He pretty much sold us on this guy that sold crack cocaine to everybody over the years. And Drake was like, you know what happened? I got popping, and I got in certain spaces, and I realized Pusha T, a guy that I used to love as being a part of the Eclipse. I found out bro wasn't really that person he was saying in his music. So Drake was like, his love for Pusha T kind of went down the drain. Though he still has a poster of the Clips up in his room or something like that. He still has in his crib. He's kind of more or less saying, the thing with Pusha T is he's not popping enough to be beefing with me. This dude's career is what it is. I'm summarizing Drake there, and we'll leave it at that with Pusha T. We'll see if Pusha ever gives a response to Drizzy Drake in 2020. Now let's move over to Kanye West. This one is a little more difficult because I feel like the entire time Drake was engaged in a beef with Pusha T, the only person I feel like Drake ever cared about was Kanye West, and it looks like this on and off relationship, this bromance that these two have had for years. Ye has admitted that Drake is the artist that he's aspiring to be like right now, right? Like the guy that got the game on lock right now. He's looking at the amount of hits that Drake's got, the positive reformations that come when Drake drops music. Ye's admitted that Drake would be the guy that he would like to do a collab album with. Obviously, Kanye West was Drake's biggest musical influence. He admitted that in an interview that that Ye was the guy for him and still is that guy. But as of right now, they're not on the speaking terms, and Drake doesn't believe that it'll ever switch around and their relationship can be kind of put back together after some of the things that have taken place behind the scenes and in front of all of us. Drake says, a lot of issues between me and Kanye West, I can't fix them for him. God bless him on his new journey. I don't know if he's going to make secular music again. If he turns up on me again, I'll turn up on him again. I guess I'm always down. It just is what it is. Remember what Drake just said right there. I'm going to address that in a couple seconds. Drake said, it's not something I'm looking forward to or I think about too much, but I'm not going to sit by while somebody's talking loose about me. So I want to speak a little bit about what Drake just said. So we see two different parallels for Drake, and there was a little bit of contradiction in the interview, and I felt like Rap Radar, they were so happy to get the interview with Drake that they asked all the great questions, right? I thought they asked all the great questions, but they weren't necessarily calling Drake out on some of the BS that he put out in the atmosphere. Wasn't a lot, but there was some. Like, example right there. Drake admitted to Rap Radar and all of us who watched that interview, that, by the way, that interview is the biggest video on YouTube right now. Drake admitted that if Kanye West were to speak bad on his name or start talking loose again, which is what Drake said, he said he'd be willing to turn up on him again. He flat-foot said that. Obviously, we got the freestyles from Drake. We obviously got the Sicko Mode record. So Drake let it be known if Ye gets loose, he's going to talk back to him and he's going to give him a diss record or some bars again. Now, in regards to Pusha T, a guy who Drake just acknowledged beat him in that rap battle, he flat-foot said Pusha T ain't getting no more bars from him because he was like, after bruh said the stuff about his friend 40 wishing death on him, as 40 does suffer from a disease called multiple sclerosis that there's no cure for right now, excuse me. But yeah, he pretty much said he wouldn't be responding to Pusha T, but if Ye were to speak out of terms on him again, he's going to give him more bars. You can look at that one of two ways, right? Either, and Drake kind of talked about this in the interview, either Drake thinks Pusha T is so under him, he feels like it will take entirely too much for him to win a rap battle against Push, because Pusha can likely find out more information about the biggest artist in the world. Or let's call a spade. Drake doesn't believe he could out-rap Pusha T, and he's looking for an easy victory, which I believe is Kanye West. And by the way, the chance of Kanye West responding to Drake in a diss record are slim and none. Could you imagine if Ye dropped a fire diss record to Drake? I feel like then next year Drake would be like, yo, I'm not responding to Ye. He took me over the edge. I don't want to beef with anybody. It's went too far, right? Like, so Drake is letting you know that Pusha T is too lyrically sound, or it's not big enough an artist. It could be a little bit of both for me to be beefing with him. Because it's Ye. If it's Ye, he just said, I'll beef with Ye again if he get out of pocket, right? I thought that was very interesting. I wanted Rap Radar to call Drake out on that BS, but it is worth noting that Drake's right-hand production guy, his number one camera guy over there at OVO Theo, shot the whole Rap Radar interview. That was not shot by Rap Radar. Again, it was shot in Drake's crib in Toronto. So let's call a spade a spade. They controlled all the elements of production. Maybe something was cut out. I doubt it. I just believe Rap Radar didn't ask Drake about that. That was one of the things, though. There were a couple other things like that in the interview, but it's just crazy to me that Drake says, I'll respond to Ye if he gets out of pocket again. But in regards to Pusha T, nah, he wasn't a big enough artist for me to be responding to. Nah, all people care about is him releasing that I had a kid. I actually thought the W Freestyle was better than the story of Adidon as a record, right? I think Drake's really good at making diss records, but Pusha got more messy, and the messy wins in this era. Who had the clickbait? Who had what's going to control the internet? Pusha T. He revealed that Bruh had a kid. He dissed 40. He talked about Drake's mom and dad and their relationship and all that. Push wins. Drake acknowledged that he didn't respond. He had a diss record in the chamber. So that's what Jay Prince was talking about. Remember earlier in the year when Jay Prince was like, yo, no, Drake had a record. I heard it and I was like, bro, don't do that. Drake was like, yeah, I had a joint in the chamber, but it was something that I wouldn't be able to stand by 4 or 5 years down the line, and I just kept it. And I took my L like a man. Y'all let me know what y'all think about the entire Drake and Rap Radar interview. I thought it was amazing to get Drake in that space. I've noticed this about Drake. To me, it seems like he's not against doing interviews and opening up. We know guys that are afraid to open up, right? Like, so just comparing the Rap Radar interview with Drake and Will Smith, I feel like Will Smith is hiding something. Drake didn't seem like he was hiding anything. Bruh answered every question that was asked. I'm looking around like maybe Drake just doesn't think there's enough outlets for him to be given that exclusive content, to be given those looks to. Because it looks like if he feels like you're the right outlet, he will give you the time of day. Maybe there is some type of safeness that he feels like is present with the Rap Radar podcast. But I thought they did a great job, and I thought Drake was a great interviewee. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about the Drake and Rap Radar podcast in the comment box below. I thank you guys so much for the time, love, support. I don't take it for granted. Salute. I'm out. I came from nothing, but I want everything God has for me. I interview celebrities. I talk sports. I still represent the culture.
I got the kids, they tuned in.
We locked in right now,
Mr. Taliaferro.
Mr. Taliaferro.
Shout out to Mr. Taliaferro.
You're watching Mr. Taliaferro TV.
Mr. Taliaferro TV.